Close your eyes for just 3 seconds. Imagine trying to drive a high-performance sports car on an empty fuel tank with flat tires and a cracked windshield. You wouldn't expect it to win a race, let alone make it down the street. Yet, this is exactly what thousands of global professionals do to their brains every single day when they sacrifice sleep for productivity.
It's the ultimate corporate lie, isn't it? We wear sleep deprivation like a badge of honor. We brag about pulling all-nighters and surviving on 4 hours of coffee-fueled rest. But if you are trying to operate at a high level in a second language, treating sleep as optional is financial and professional sabotage.
Welcome to another episode of the English Mindset Lab, to the third installment of our Health and Mindset series. Today, with my great friend and your favorite podcaster, Maya, we are pulling back the curtain on the sleep mindset. We are going beyond the generic advice of get 8 hours and exploring the direct mathematical link between deep rest and your ability to sound articulate, persuasive, and fluent in English.
Because the truth is, when your brain is exhausted, your English fluency is the very first thing to collapse. Today, we're breaking down why this happens, analyzing the cognitive cost of fatigue, and equipping you with advanced vocabulary to talk about health, boundaries, and peak performance.
Let's look at the science before we get into the practical solutions. When you sleep, your brain isn't just turned off. It's performing a critical process called memory consolidation.
This is where your brain takes the vocabulary, grammar, and expressions you practice during the day and moves them from your temporary short-term storage into your permanent long-term memory.
That's so true, Maya.
If you skip that sleep, that consolidation process is cut short. The words literally don't stick. But even worse is what happens to your retrieval systems when you are tired. Leo, you've seen this with students all the time. The classic, it's on the tip of my tongue syndrome.
Absolutely. A sleep-deprived brain suffers from cognitive decline. Your prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for switching between languages, finding synonyms, and structuring complex arguments, slows down drastically. Studies show that losing just 1.5 hours of sleep can reduce your daytime alertness by up to 32%.
And that 32% drop is the difference between sounding like a senior executive and sounding like a nervous beginner. I know this because I lived it, Leo. And it almost cost me one of the biggest opportunities of my professional life.
Why, Maya? Please tell our listeners.
This happened about 5 years ago. I was pitching a digital transformation strategy to a major international client. The stakes were incredibly high, and my fixed mindset took over. I thought, if I stop working, I'm lazy. So, for 3 days straight leading up to the presentation, I slept maybe 3 or 4 hours a night. I was memorizing data, tweaking slides, and drinking energy drinks.
You thought you were outworking the competition.
Exactly. I walked into that boardroom feeling like a warrior. But the moment I stood up to speak in front of the board of directors, my brain completely skipped a beat. I opened my mouth to deliver my opening hook, and nothing came out. The English words were just floating out of my reach.
That sounds terrifying. What did you do?
I panicked because my brain was so groggy I couldn't find advanced professional alternatives. Instead of saying, we need to strategically allocate our capital to optimize revenue, I stammered and said, we need to put money to make good things. I sounded completely incompetent. I stumbled through the grammar, lost my thread of thought twice, and could see the clients losing interest in real time.
Did you get the contract?
No, we lost it, and the feedback from the evaluator was devastating. They said, Maya has good technical ideas, but she lacks the authoritative presence and communication clarity to lead this project. I went home and cried for a day. I blamed my English. I thought my language skills weren't good enough.
But it wasn't a language problem, was it?
Not at all. A few weeks later, I spoke to a neurologist who specialized in executive performance. She looked at my schedule and said, Maya, your English is flawless when you are rested. But at 4 hours of sleep, your brain is functionally intoxicated.
Wow, he was so right. What else did he say?
He said, you didn't fail because of your vocabulary. You failed because your brain was starving for REM sleep. That was my wake-up call. I realized that protecting my sleep wasn't a luxury. It was a core part of my professional strategy.
Maya's story highlights a profound truth. Your language proficiency is volatile. It changes based on your biological state. When we talk about a growth mindset in health, it means realizing that sleep is an active investment in your intelligence.
Let's look at how a lack of rest directly degrades specific language pillars. Vocabulary retrieval. The brain cannot access the semantic network efficiently. You repeat basic words like good, bad, and big instead of nuance. Pronunciation and intonation. Motor control and auditory feedback loops slow down. Your speech becomes monotonous, and your native accent becomes heavier.
And active listening. The brain struggles to filter background noise and process accents. You miss key details in fast-paced meetings and have to ask people to repeat themselves.
Look at that third one. Active listening. When you are tired, you don't just speak worse, you hear worse. You lose the cognitive bandwidth required to decode idioms, cultural references, and subtext in real-time corporate conversations.
So, how do we shift the mindset? We have to treat sleep hygiene with the same discipline we treat our business KPIs. To fix this, you need a structured transition period. High-performing professionals don't just slam their laptops shut and fall asleep instantly. They build what we call an optimal sleep runway.
The caffeine cutoff, 6 hours before bed. Stop all caffeine intake. Caffeine has a half-life of roughly 6 hours, meaning half of it is still circulating in your brain, blocking adenosine receptors that signal fatigue.
The digital hard stop, 1 hour before bed. Disconnect from all blue light emitting screens, laptops, smartphones, and tablets. Blue light suppresses melatonin production, tricking your brain into thinking it is still daytime.
Cognitive decompression, 30 minutes before bed. Engage in a low stimulation activity in dim lighting. Read fiction. Journal your thoughts to clear brain clutter, or practice breathing exercises to lower your heart rate.
Let's look at the business English phrases we used at past episodes to negotiate this routine with ourselves and our teams.
Because to protect this runway, you have to be ready to manage expectations.
Let's roleplay. Suppose a colleague tries to schedule an international call that bleeds right into your sleep runway at 10 p.m.
Hey Leo, I know it's late over there, but the US team just jumped online. Can you sync up with us for an hour to review the code base?
I'd love to support the US team on this, but I'm currently protecting my evening downtime to ensure I'm sharp as a tack for tomorrow's client presentation. Can we log this asynchronously? Or should we schedule a touch base first thing tomorrow during my morning slot?
Exceptional pushback. Notice the phrase, I'm protecting my evening downtime. It sounds incredibly professional. It doesn't sound like I'm lazy and want to sleep. It implies that you value your performance enough to protect your rest. And sharp as a tack, a fantastic idiom meaning mentally acute, quick-witted, and highly alert.
Let's break down the advanced vocabulary from today's masterclass so you can confidently discuss performance, health, and neurology in English. Memory consolidation. The neurological process where temporary memories are transformed into long-term ones during sleep. Cognitive decline. A reduction or slowing down of mental abilities, such as memory, thinking speed, and language processing. Badge of honor. A feeling of pride derived from an experience or habit that others might find difficult or unpleasant. For example, bragging about working too much. To skip a beat. To experience a brief pause, mistake, or interruption in a normal rhythm or thought process. Groggy. Feeling dazed, weak, or unsteady due to a lack of sleep or sudden awakening. Sharp as a tack. An idiom used to describe someone who is mentally alert, highly intelligent, and quick to react. Brain fog. A colloquial term for cognitive fatigue characterized by confusion, forgetfulness, and a lack of focus. Sleep hygiene. The habits and practices that are conducive to sleeping well on a regular basis. To pull an all-nighter. An idiomatic expression meaning to stay awake all night working or studying. Volatile. Liable to change rapidly and unpredictably, especially for the worse. For example, my fluency is volatile when I am tired. Downtime. Time spent resting or relaxing, away from professional responsibilities. To outwork someone. To work harder or longer hours than a competitor.
Let's anchor these terms in your muscle memory. Focus on clean pronunciation, pausing naturally where I pause. Speak with authority. If I don't prioritize sleep hygiene, my cognitive performance suffers the next day.
I need to protect my evening downtime so I can be sharp as a tack for the board meeting.
Relying on caffeine to fight off brain fog is a short-term fix that hurts long-term productivity.
We shouldn't treat sleep deprivation as a badge of honor in our company culture.
Brilliant execution. Your challenge for this upcoming week: implement the digital hard stop at least 3 nights this week. Turn off your phone and laptop 1 hour before your target sleep time and observe how much faster your brain retrieves advanced English vocabulary during your morning calls.
Remember, true high performance is sustainable. A fixed mindset burns bright and burns out. A growth mindset rests, recharges, and conquers.
Thank you for joining us for part 3 of our Health and Mindset series. If my boardroom horror story resonated with you, share this episode with a colleague who is currently burning the candle at both ends.
Subscribe, protect your sleep runway, and we will see you in the next masterclass. Sleep well, stay focused, and keep growing. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.